What's up, guys? Sergeant Phillips here. I posted a video yesterday basically following my progress for my 22 push-ups a day for a year challenge. And I don't know if this is looking, I'm probably just supposed to look at the camera here, but basically the videos that I'm doing on Instagram are, let's just start from the beginning. I had a mental breakdown slash midlife crisis at the age of 24, and I have been dealing with a lot of mental health issues, especially since getting out of the Marine Corps and during the Marine Corps. But in the Marine Corps, a lot of it is, rub dirt on it and move on, change your socks, take some ibuprofen, and it's just not how the brain really works, especially if you are like me and you don't stay in for 20 or 30 years. You don't retire out of the Department of Defense, and in my case, the Marine Corps. But this channel is basically going to be for all veterans, Marine Corps, Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, Border Patrol, any part of the Department of Defense, honestly, up to the Secretary. We all deal with certain things that mess with us, but I probably will continue to post. I can't really promise anything right now just because of how, with mental health, one day something sounds like a great idea and the next day it doesn't. But right now this seems like a good idea. I just kind of want to get my name out there and just open myself up to people who are struggling, and not just veterans, anybody who's having mental health issues and that needs someone who might have or does have experience with it and dealing with it, and who have come to the point where it might be suicidal. And in my unit, I was a suicide coordinator, so I went to courses, and I had certifications for suicide prevention and dealing and coping with that type of mentality, because ultimately that's where a lot of people are led with mental illness, is to suicide. It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem, because you can get better. You seriously can. And I'll put a link to my Instagram in the description, but basically I post every single day. I do my 22 push-ups because that's the average number of veterans who commit or are victims of suicide every single day, is 22 every day, which is just, and if this video helps one person over the course of 10 years, or this channel helps one person over the course of 10 years, that's great. Then I've accomplished my goal. But if it goes further than that, that's great too. But I'll try and keep this video short just so I don't lose a lot of people because of the length of it, because I know that lengthier videos can kind of get tossed to the side, especially with stuff like this. So if you're out there and you're struggling, subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to be posting basically videos on how I deal with it, my coping skills, and I am seeing therapists and I am on medications that do help, and I will talk about those in the future, and those sessions in the future. And for some of you who might not have, if you're not a veteran, you don't have access to the VA, and the VA is a wonderful resource. I don't care what they tell you in the military, the VA is a wonderful resource. A lot of times, especially like in TRS, they try and scare you, and it's like, oh, make sure that you're 100%. Everything is cut and scheduled, and you're covered. Because honestly, that's how our society is, and in especially like our economy, like you have to have some sort of plan, if not financially, but just for yourself, for like coping strategies or anything like that. So if that sounds like something that'll interest you, then go ahead and subscribe, and I will be posting. I do a lot of like work around the house, and I don't know what I'm doing most of the time, and so you'll see my sort of like process of learning and not trying to lose my cool while doing it, and then the finished product. And for me especially, I'm sort of a creative person, and I like to be perfect in almost everything that I do. And I'm not saying that that's how all of you probably are, but I mean, if something helps for me, it might help for you. So if you like the video, go ahead and like it and subscribe, and I'll post more like this. But also, I'll switch it up as well and do things outside and take you guys with me, like on the road sometimes or wherever I go or something like that. But yeah, have a good night, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go drink some sleepy time tea and go to bed. So have a good one. Peace out.